1966, the last live performance. Now then, were you aware it was? Did you decide it was the last?
No, we didn't know it was the last one. We
where were we? San Francisco.
Candlestick Park, was it?
Candlestick Park.
Was that where it was?
San Francisco.
I've heard it was there. Yeah. I mean, you know, people looking at our story would be more aware of some things. We just did that show,
right? And
we just didn't. That was the end of the tour. We never went on tour again, so we didn't really remember that as being the big last gig until someone told us.
Were you? Were there cracks starting? Was it beginning to be less joyful? I don't mean was there animosity. I mean, were yawns? Were you beginning to yawn?
No. After that last live show, we got really why we didn't play live anymore. We wanted to record. That had become the big thing, like it is for people these days. That's really one of the big thrills, being a studio. And we wanted to spend a lot of time in the studio, and weren't as keen going out with it. You know, we'd had a few places where it had been raining in America, and the equipment had sort of got electric shocks and stuff. It starts to put you off, and you think, what are we doing here? And so we were more attracted to the recording. So we started doing a lot of that, and then after a lot of that was fine for a while. But around about the time we made the White Album, one of the Beatles albums, we started to just get a little bit ratty and feel like it just wasn't as pleasant as it had been, and I suppose we were growing apart, really.
We're talking about the year 1960s, around about 1969, when the Beatles came to an end properly, and it had occurred to the people who were helping me to make this programme that that's a long time ago, 69. And so we popped into the streets to ask people...
Oh dear. You didn't tell me about this, did you?
No. To ask people if the name McCartney meant anything to them. And if it did mean anything to them, what it meant to them, the name McCartney. And this is what we came up with.
Said.
Can't buy me love, can't buy me love. Everybody tells me so, can't buy me love. Oh, no, no, no.
Ebony and ivory work together in perfect harmony. Hey Jude, don't let me down.
She loves you, yeah. Yes? All right. Love you, yeah. And I love like that. I can't remember anymore. We all live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine, a yellow submarine.
We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine.
Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
She loves you, yeah. She loves you, yeah. Woo!
It's been a hard day's night. I'd not be walking like a John. You make me feel all like, yeah.
Was there ever one night in this nightmare, or whatever it may be, where you said to yourself, lying in your lonely couch, on your lonely couch,
in my lonely couch,
in your lonely couch, between the Terylene sheets, not comfortable,
all that horsehair,
saying to yourself, I am Paul McCartney, and the Beatles have finished tonight?
When the group broke up, yeah, that was a very depressing time, because as I say, the group had done its thing. I think we were all beginning to feel like we'd come full circle, and it was getting a little bit crabby and bitchy here and there. And I think we all sort of wanted to break up, and girlfriends and stuff. They weren't like to blame. They were blamed later, you know, the women, like, you know. But in actual fact, they were just an ingredient in the break. It wasn't their fault. They were just there and happened to cop it, you know, for being there, really. But
and when we first met Linda, was it LAFS?
Excuse us a minute, will you?
Love at first sight.
Oh, you sexy thing.
And we must have crossed the crowded room a lot.
Yes, we met in a club, and yeah, I saw her there.
You're not putting my leg?
No, it was a bag of nails, actually.
And how long was it after that you decided that you couldn't live without each other?
I don't know. It's a romantic show, this, isn't it?
It is. We're drifting into the romance now, of course, aren't we? Now,
I'm not sure exactly how long it was. It was about a year, I think.
happy wedding day.
Crazy wedding day. It's, oh, there they are.
I hadn't realised that you had such bad dandruff at that time.
This was the problem, yes. Good joke, that. I like that
Went
one.
down well at the rehearsal as well. When you were on tour with Wings, you did seem to me to have to work hard to get the thing moving.
Yeah.
To get dates and gigs and things, which seems almost incredible.
Well, I mean, the truth was that when the Beatles broke up, it was, you were out of a job. You know, so for me, it was like building the whole thing up from square one. And it wasn't easy, you know, so you had to get a band broken in so people knew each other and so you could play, you knew the songs. So we did a lot of going back to square one and playing small gigs, and we used to play at student union gigs for 50p on the door.
But is it true that you turned up at places and say, the guy would go in and say, we've got McCartney outside?
In the van, yeah, he's in the van.
But is this true?
Yes, well, that's what the fella said.
He's in the van.
He said, but is this true? I said, yes, it is. Do you want him to come and play tomorrow lunchtime? He said, all right, then. Book him in. And we'd just turn up. It was great, actually. It was really good, because after the Beatles and all that fame and stuff, it reminded me of the early days, where you know, what we were talking about originally. Because you used to, because it was 50p on the door, you'd get handed a big bag of coins. So, because with the Beatles, we made a lot of money. We never saw any of it. It just went down a big hole. It was like checks and, you know, accounts that you weren't allowed to look at. You know, so you never saw any of it. So this is the first money I'd seen for years. It was like, right, lads, the big payout. And then I felt like Duke Ellington, you know. 50p for you, 50p. Like that Peter Sellers thing.
2 for me.
2 for me, 1 for you. No. And it was fun. We used to play cards for it. It was a crazy time, but it was the only way I could think to keep going. I didn't want to sort of do the Andy Williams, you've seen him in the Beatles, now dig him at Lake Tahoe.
You're constantly moving forward into areas which might be dangerous for you artistically, I'm not talking about, which brings us to Broad Street. Now, it's a very big, slightly crazy step for you to take, isn't it? Because you took everything on. Just tell us what you took on.
Well, I wrote the thing originally,
the film.
which is the first cheeky step. But you do, when you do stuff like that, you just do it out of the art of it. You just do it for the fun of it. You know, you don't make a painting or write a song to be criticised later. You don't think of that. You just do it. You know, it's the spur of the moment. You do it. You get it all together. And so, having written it, I think I was always going to walk into a wall of criticism there, because most of the people who are criticising me are writers.